What's your story? What's your sign? You're dreamers. Don't care what other people say. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive. We come alive. We come alive. We're doing this in our own way. We come alive.
Jamaica, make we do the right thing. Make we live good today for a better tomorrow. Talk it out. Don't fight it out. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
6:30.
Well, the Integrity Commission has tabled has sent another report to the Houses of Parliament, and this report claims that a company connected to the Prime Minister but not owned by him has been found guilty of breaching building contacts, building code, the building approval as approved by the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation. What the Integrity Commission found was that what the KSAMC approved to be constructed at a plot of land in Beverly Hills was actually not what was being constructed at the time it was sent there to investigate by a tip-off from a whistleblower, and it has made some recommendations after examining all of that, talking to the critical people. It says that there was evidence of clear breaches in what was being built relative to what was approved to be built. The report is fresh. It has just dropped in the Parliament. I have the report. I'm going to go through sections of it for you to make you understand what indeed the Integrity Commission has found. Welcome to Lead Story here on CVM TV. So as I said, it's a 63-page report. You know, everything from the Integrity Commission is voluminous because it involves so much detail, so much meticulous work, and so the reports are usually substantive, not quick reads, not written in too difficult language, although some people would disagree, but I don't think so. But it's usually meticulously prepared, so it's quite voluminous. 63 pages is tame compared to IC standards and the old Contractor General. But there is enough to wade through here to give you an idea of what has happened. So what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to go through the main points of the executive summary and then highlight some of the key individuals where the investigation was concerned, and then tell you what the findings of the Director of Investigation those findings were. So if I may start for you at page 4 of 63, where the executive summary starts, and it says, this investigation report, by the way, we're working to bring some graphics for you, but you would understand this thing just dropped and we didn't have sight of it before to prepare these slides for you to give you a visual guide. So I urge you to walk with me as I try my best to tell you what is in it. You're going to have to listen to me rather than be able to be guided along by visual aids that you're used to, okay? So this investigation report, the IC says, was started following receipt of a report alleging irregularities in the development and building approval processes relating to property owned by the Most Honorable Dr. Andrew Michael Hollis. That's what it says. It says, however, initial inquiries led the investigation to focus on a residential development located at 2 Wycliffe Close, Beverly Hills, Kingston 6, which is owned by Estate Bridge Holdings Limited. The investigation found that the development was being constructed contrary to the terms of the planning approval and building permit issued by the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation and the Building Act. Whilst planning approval and the building permit were issued for the construction, and this tells you what the breach was in terms of what was approved by the KSAMC and what the contractors actually were building for the developers. So it says, whilst planning approval and the building permit were issued for the construction of 4 semi-detached townhouses in two-story buildings consisting of 2-bedroom units. At the start of the investigation, the erected development consisted of 4 4-bedroom units. So again, what was approved was the construction of 4 semi-detached townhouses in two-story buildings consisting of 2-bedroom units. But what they actually saw, the investigation team, when they went there, was 4 4-bedroom units. The Director of Investigation of the Integrity Commission concludes that the breaches were deliberate and that the directors of Estate Bridge are liable. The Director of Investigation also concludes that the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation failed to effectively discharge their responsibilities to ensure compliance with the terms of the approvals granted. They're saying the KCMC did not do their job properly to follow up, to monitor, because what they approved was actually not what was being built, and they made several follow-up visits there, so they should have seen that what they had approved was being deviated from, and on that score, the Director of Investigation says that the KSAMC failed to effectively discharge their responsibilities to ensure compliance. First sentence in point 1.3 of the executive summary is also worth repeating. The Director of Investigation concludes that the breaches observed were deliberate and that the directors of Estate Bridge are liable. Final point in the executive summary, recommendations are made which aim to improve accountability and prevent a reoccurrence of the issues identified. Now, you may be asking, okay, so what about the part concerning the Prime Minister and this matter? I'll tell you that after the break. This is Lead Story here on CVM TV.
Family of Pharmacies, your trusted partner in health and wellness for over 30 years. With 8 convenient pharmacies across Eastern Jamaica. Supermed Mall Pharmacy, Supermed New Kingston, Supermed Pepine, Supermed Port Antonio Pharmacies 1 and 2, Claire's St. Mary, Lloyd's St. Thomas, and a convenient drive-through at our Hughenden location where you can get your medication without leaving your car. We're dedicated to providing you with the highest level of care. Experience the difference with Supermed Family of Pharmacies. Super happy, super healthy.
And you go down and have a good day. Blessings. Supermed.
No more fear of missing out. CVM TV News is on YouTube. Get up-to-date news, sports, and business content at CVM TV News anytime, anywhere. Subscribe now to CVM TV News to see it happen.
Welcome back to Lead Story. We're talking about a report submitted to the Parliament, well, tabled in Parliament today after submission by the Integrity Commission a few days prior, and it concerns a property in Beverly Hills in St. Andrew, where the Director of Investigation of the Integrity Commission has concluded that what was approved by the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, the KSAMC, was actually not what was being built at the location at the time of its investigation. It found that the breaches in the building of the apartment complex on the property, it was a deliberate breach on the part of the directors of Estate Bridge Limited. I want you to keep that name in mind, Estate Bridge, okay? Estate Bridge. So here's the thing now. Why did the Integrity Commission investigate this property? It says that on July 10, 2024, the following allegations were received. That Mr. Holness, Andrew Holness, is the owner of property on which construction is being carried out contrary to the terms of the planning approval and building permit granted by the KSAMC, and that Mr. Holness often requests the service from his architect to draw a blueprint that will be sent to KSAMC. However, a second blueprint will be drawn that will be used for the actual construction, and it is said that this was done at one of his developments in either Beverly Hills or Cherry Garden. On July 11, the day after getting the allegation, the Commission says it undertook an unannounced visit to the KSAMC to inquire as to whether or not the Prime Minister had, directly or indirectly, applied for a building permit for a development in Beverly Hills or Cherry Gardens. That inquiry revealed that the only development in the area that the Prime Minister was in some way connected with is a residential development located at 2 Wycliffe Close, Beverly Hills, Kingston 6 St. Andrew, and that this was owned by Estate Bridge. Keep Estate Bridge in mind. Further inquiries were therefore made into this development and an investigation initiated. Now, the Integrity Commission in its report listed the names of persons and titles which they say are pertinent to the investigation. Among them, Mr. Xavier Chevans, the chief engineer at the KSAMC, Roshane Hamilton, field officer at the KSAMC, Orion Brown, field officer at the KSAMC, Sean Martin, field officer at the KSAMC, Kenado Nesbeth of KNN Designs and Consultants Limited, they were actually the contractors who executed the project. Mr. Norman Brown, Mr. J. Anderson, and Mr. Adam Holness, who are the directors and shareholders of Estate Bridge. Donovan Williams, company secretary of Estate Bridge, and Dr. Holness, the legal and beneficial owner of Imperium Investments Holdings Limited, which is a former shareholder of Estate Bridge. Now, right there is where the link is, because what the Integrity Commission said in this report is that Estate Bridge is the entity that owned the property at 2 Wycliffe Close in Beverly Hills in St. Andrew. They are the ones, Estate Bridge, that are developing the property. Yeah? Estate Bridge, the Integrity Commission says, has 3 directors and shareholders: Norman Brown, CJ Anderson, and Adam Holness. Now, who is Adam Holness? Adam Holness, the report says, is the son of Andrew Michael Holness. Norman Brown, CJ Anderson, and Adam Holness are the directors and shareholders of Estate Bridge. Why, though, is the Prime Minister connected to this? According to the report says that Andrew Holness was the legal and beneficial owner of Imperium Investments, which was a former shareholder of Estate Bridge. They did not say anything in this report to suggest that the Prime Minister still has shares in Estate Bridge. That was not said, and it was also not said that the Prime Minister had a company that still owned Estate Bridge. They made clear in the report that yes, the Prime Minister did own the property, did own Imperium Investments Limited, which was a shareholder in Estate Bridge, but that relationship had changed, and now Estate Bridge's shareholders did not include Andrew Michael Holness, but that the Prime Minister was still connected because of that Imperium Investments Holdings Limited Estate Bridge former connection, and at the time when the property was bought, it was still under the name of Imperium Investments, therefore still under the ownership of Andrew Michael Holness. I want you to follow me now, yeah? And I'm quoting from the report, no opinions are being offered here. The directors of Estate Bridge are listed in a table because, again, Estate Bridge is very important to the report because the Integrity Commission makes no pretensions. It is clear which company was developing the property and who the owners of the company are. And it lists them here in a table on page 12 of the report. Sijia Anderson was appointed a director of Estate Bridge July 2020. Norman Brown, 22nd of July 2020, the same day as C.J. Anderson. And then Adam Holness was appointed a director of Estate Bridge on March 29, 2021. It also lists the shareholders, the number of shares that are held in Estate Bridge. And it says, remember Imperium Investments now, which is Andrew Holness's company? It says it has 0 ordinary shares. Zero of the total shares in Estate Bridge, that Andrew Holness company has 0, whereby Adam Holness has 2,000, Norman Brown has 1,000, and C.J. Anderson has 2,000. Yeah? So that's the link between Estate Bridge and the Prime Minister, even though the Director of Investigations here maintains that there was still some link given Holness's company's previous shareholding in Estate Bridge. I think I should take a break and come back and present to you the findings of the Director of Investigations and the specific persons he believes are liable for that breach at that property in Beverly Hills, St. Andrew.
Truth is, HIV affects everyone. Truth is, avoiding care leads to a weaker immune system. That means you could get really sick. The truth is, the hardest pill to swallow isn't the medication. It's the problems that follow when you don't take them. Let's get through this together. Remain in care. You can live life to the fullest with HIV. And that's the truth. A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Welcome back to Lead Story here on CVM TV. So rather than reach for a summation of what the report is about, the Integrity Commission does it very well here on the footnote of each of the 63 pages of this report. So what this basically is, viewers, if you're just joining, it's a report of investigation concerning irregularities in respect of the construction of a residential development located at 2 Wycliffe Close, Beverly Hills, Kingston 6, contrary to the terms of the permit issued to Estate Bridge Holdings Limited by the KSAMC. And remember, I've told you who the owners of Estate Bridge are. So what are the recommendations from the Director of Investigations coming out of this investigation that it started in June this year? The DI recommends, that's the Director of Investigation of the Integrity Commission, that the Chief Executive Officer of the KSAMC implements additional measures to ensure adherence to the provisions outlined in Sections 33 and 34 of the Building Act in relation to its inspection and post-monitoring responsibilities and functions, because this report found that those were lacking. It lacked rigor in this specific instance of this property in Beverly Hills. The DI is also recommending that the KSAMC conduct an administrative review of its existing compliance regime with respect to building permits issued by that entity. The review should include a capacity assessment, both of the adequacy of the human resources available to the KSAMC for post-permit monitoring of building developments within the municipality's jurisdiction, as well as the technical competencies of the officers responsible for enforcement and compliance. It says serious consideration should be given to ensure that the relevant processes are corruption-proof. It says, given the breaches identified in respect of the development, the Director of Investigation recommends that the KSAMC make their own assessment of same and thereafter take any actions as are necessary and appropriate to achieve compliance with the Building Act. They come to the Prime Minister again, they say, notwithstanding Dr. Holness's connection to the development in question, having regard to the fact that the issues identified in this matter are similar to those identified by the DI in one of his 2023 investigation reports. And that report concerned the former head of the National Water Commission, Mark Barnett, who, in concert with his wife, built some apartments in Charlemont in Upper St. Andrew, and those were built contrary to what was approved by the KSAMC. The Director of Investigation reiterates that the recommendations made generally in that report. Now, it's highlighting that the Prime Minister, well, it says that the NWC matter with Mark Barnett, where he and his wife were found to have built apartment units contrary to what was approved, he says this matter is similar to that. And he says, ordinarily, the Director of Investigation would refer this matter for prosecution to the Director of Public Prosecutions. But given the ruling of the DPP in that NWC Mark Barnett matter, it is recommended by the DI that this report be referred to the KSAMC. So what did the DPP do in the Mark Barnett matter to set the precedent for things like this? Rather than take criminal action, the Director of Public Prosecution said, look, it is not in my remit to pursue any criminal prosecution of the people involved in building apartment complexes contrary to what was approved by the building permit given to them, authorized by the KSAMC and in accordance with the building code. Rather, it is for the KSAMC itself to take remedial action, to consider the issues, to consider the breach, and then whether levy punishment, fine, or whatever it is for them to deal with. It's not for my office to pursue such a criminal prosecution. That was the decision in the NWC Mark Barnett Charlemont Apartments matter. The Director of Investigation says, well, rather than go to the DPP and ask her to criminally prosecute, I'm going to be guided by what she said in the Mark Barnett Charlemont Apartment matter, and recommend that the KSAMC do in this matter as the KSAMC was advised by the DPP to do in the Mark Barnett Charlemont matter. So that's pretty much what it boiled down to. The Charlemont matter, it says, was referred to the DPP after consultation with the Director of Corruption Prosecution, who had indicated, so another key point. In the Charlemont matter, the Integrity Commission consulted with its own Director of Corruption Prosecution to see whether or not the DPP's decision to not pursue a criminal prosecution but instead ask the KSAMC to remedy the situation. And the Director of Corruption Prosecution, which is a part of the Integrity Commission, says, look, I don't have prosecutorial merit to pursue those matters. So it's a similar case where this Beverly Hills matter is concerned. So pretty much that's it. I want to also highlight something else in the report. The Director of Investigation said that he had interviews with the developer, the contractor rather, in the project, and also with one of the shareholders of Estate Bridge, and that he did not believe their testimony. He named them, and remember I told you that Mr. Kennard Nesbeth is the man behind the company that got the contract to develop this project. Nesbeth gave a sworn statement to best of his knowledge how the modifications to the structure came about, and he gave details about sewage backup and other work being carried out contrary to what his instructions were, and that they were trying to correct that. The Integrity Commission says, well, when we went there, what we saw doesn't accord with what you said. Mr. Nesbeth also said to them, but listen, you said I gave a statement saying so-and-so. I didn't give that statement. What I am saying is this, which is when he was interviewed by the Integrity Commission at their offices, he gave a statement. And he's saying that the claim that I gave a statement previously on the site of the development, that was not so. But the Director of Investigation is saying that it appears as if Mr. Nesbeth and one of the directors of Estate Bridge Holdings Limited, he's saying that, look, I don't believe their account of what happened. So on that basis, he felt that the breach was deliberate, the Director of Investigations of the IC. Mr. Nesbeth spoke his truth. The Director of Investigation says, well, I don't believe that truth. Mr. Brown, one of the shareholders of Estate Bridge, spoke his truth. The Director of Investigation says, well, I don't believe that truth. And on that basis, he says he believes the breach was deliberate. So the sum total is this matter of the breaches concerning the property, 2 Wycliffe Close, Beverly Hills, Kingston 6, that matter will be resolved by the KSAMC. That is what the Integrity Commission has concluded should happen in this case, consistent with what happened in a very similar matter not so long ago involving Mark Barnett and some apartment units in Charlemont in Kingston 6. All right? It's 6:54. I take my leave here on Leave Story, and Nika Lewis is going to be here with the news in short order.
schoolboy football, September 7 to December 14 on CVM TV. This is schoolboy football, brought to you by EdgeChem, AIM Financial Corporation, Texaco, Connect Services, Jamaica Stock Exchange, and Sunshine Snacks. No more fear of missing out. CVM TV News is on YouTube. Get up-to-date news, sports, and business content at CVM TV News anytime, anywhere. Subscribe now to CVM TV News to see it happen.
I love waking up every day in this country. This is where I was born and raised. I have such a passion for my country, and for me this is home. In Jamaica, a lot of people they look at just like beach, sea, sand, but our mountains are something to behold. It's majestic up there, and it's a different type of peace. It's a different type of lifestyle completely. I could mention many different places that are amazing, but the one thing I do love about Jamaica as well is that you can find that relaxation, you can find that chill in your backyard. Apart from it being an incredibly beautiful country, an incredibly beautiful island, we have a wonderful, wonderful culture, wonderful, vibrant, colorful people. There is definitely a realness to Jamaica. There's definitely something that no matter what keeps you in touch with reality here. Why come to Jamaica? It all comes back down to Jamaica as a whole. The food, the music, the culture, the people, the climate. Come out and meet us. Come out and experience what Jamaica has to offer.
Where the difference is made. Where titles are decided. Where respect is earned. Excel here and you could go down in history. It's the final third. CVM TV's weekly JPL preview show every Sunday, starting 30 minutes before our live broadcast. Get insight, analysis, and hear from your favorite players weekly, just before we bring you our feature broadcast for the day. Move from defense to attack and join us in the final third. This and every Sunday until the end of the JPL season.
Mighty!
Yeah.
Mighty.
This is mine?
Mighty! I want that in the middle of the road.
Where's the sleigh? Good morning.
You've never seen a sunrise quite like this.
Tamaiti Christmas in the Streets is brought to you by Flow, unwrapping holiday happiness. That's Christmasing.
CVM TV and live Jamaica Premier League action on a Monday night. A match made in heaven. We call
the internationally acclaimed On Stage with Winfred Williams.
At a new time, Saturdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
So much more than entertainment.
Small business owners and independent contractors get affordable insurance with Sagicor Pro Shield. The time by Sagicor Life is
7 o'clock.
CVM News at 7 headlines Tuesday, courtesy of Heart NSTA Trust, Jamaica's Human Development Agency.
In CVM News at 7. Development linked to Prime Minister Holness found in breach. Headless body found in Trelawney. Suspect in custody following murder of returning resident. And former Petrojam execs found not guilty on all counts. Also this evening in the business report, Jamaica leads the region in recycling. While in sports, West Indies beat Bangladesh to clinch series.
CVM News at 7 headlines Tuesday, courtesy of Heart NSTA Trust, Jamaica's Human Development Agency.
The holidays, however you want. KFC, it's finger licking good. Crunch the holidays, however you want. KFC, it's finger licking good.
From Kingston, Jamaica, this is CVM News at 7. I'm Nika Lewis. It's Tuesday, December 10, 2024. Thanks for having joined us. The discovery of a decapitated body has sent shock and fear throughout sections of western Jamaica Monday. The Trelawney Police Division is probing the circumstances which led to the death of a man whose headless body was found in wire fence Wait-A-Bit in the parish. Reports are that at around 7:15 a.m., residents stumbled upon the body and summoned the police. When law enforcement arrived, the body was seen wrapped in a bedsheet in a ditch. The identity of the male is yet to be confirmed. Investigations are, however, ongoing. And the Hopewell police in Hanover have taken one man into custody in connection with the murder of a man at his home in the parish at the weekend. The deceased has been identified as 58-year-old Winston Archer, a Canadian returning resident who resides in Macquarie Drive in Hopewell, Hanover. Reports are that sometime around 10:15 a.m. Thursday, Archer was at home when he was ambushed and shot multiple times by armed men. Residents in the community who heard the gunshots summoned the police. On their arrival, Archer was discovered lying in a pool of blood with multiple gunshot wounds to his upper body. The scene was processed and the body removed to the morgue for post-mortem examination. Investigators say it is believed that robbery may have been a motive for his death. One man has since been taken into custody for questioning in connection with the death of the Canadian national. Our news team also learned that Archer returned from Canada several months ago and had acquired a house in Macquarie Drive where he has since been living alone. A verdict was today handed down in relation to the case involving two former Petrojam executives who were accused of defrauding the state-owned petroleum company Petrojam. As senior parish judge Maxine Ellis found former general manager Floyd Grindley and former board chairman Dr. Percival Bahadur Singh not guilty on all counts. Joel Crossgill provides the latest.
Attorney at law Bert Samuels, who represented Dr. Bahadur Singh, expressed satisfaction with the not guilty ruling in a trial that began in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court in May 2022 and captured widespread public attention.
The team, consisting of K.D. Knight, myself, Mr. Matthew Hyatt, and Sophia Samuels, my daughter, are elated. But even more elated are the accused men who have voluntarily flown back to Jamaica to be charged and have been vindicated.
What is up with the ATM downtimes in Jamaica? That was the big question as the leadership of Jamaica's central bank sat in the hot seat as they appeared before the Standing Finance Committee of Parliament.
We do apologize for the insert issue right there. But the Integrity Commission has concluded its investigations into the building approval processes for a residential property by a company linked to the Prime Minister, and the findings are damning. This inquiry has revealed serious breaches of compliance with established planning regulations at a residential development in the upscale Beverly Hills St. Andrew area. The IC report not only highlights violations of planning regulations, but also points to deliberate attempts to mislead investigators. The Integrity Commission's investigations were initiated following complaints that raised concerns about potential irregularities in the development and building approval processes associated with properties owned by Prime Minister Andrew Holness. These allegations prompted a probe into a specific residential development located in Beverly Hills. According to the IC report, requisite planning approval permit for 4 two-bedroom units had been properly issued by the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation, KSAMC. The Director of Investigation found that instead of the approved 2-bedroom units, the development consisted of 4 four-bedroom townhouses, contrary to the approved plans. The DI concluded that these breaches were deliberate. The findings suggested that there was an intention to mislead regulatory authorities regarding the nature and scope of the construction being undertaken. Central to these findings was Kenado Nesbeth, Managing Director of KNN Designs and Construction. The investigation revealed that he either conspired with or aided and abetted the directors of Estate Bridge in committing these breaches. The DI recommends that the Chief Executive Officer of the KSAMC implements additional measures to ensure adherence to the Building Act in relation to its inspection and post-permit monitoring responsibilities or functions. The DI also suggested an administrative review of its existing compliance regime. The DI recommended that this report be referred to the KSAMC for appropriate action. In a previous ruling regarding construction at Charlemont Drive in St. Andrew, the DPP, after consultation with the Director of Corruption Prosecution, had indicated that her prosecutorial remit does not extend to such matters. And we return to that story regarding the verdict that was handed down today in relation to the case involving 2 former Petrojam executives who were accused of defrauding the state-owned petroleum company Petrojam. As Senior Parish Judge Maxine Ellis found former General Manager Floyd Grindley and former Board Chairman Dr. Percival Bahadur Singh not guilty on all counts. Joel Crosskill provides the details.
Attorney at law Bert Samuels, who represented Dr. Bahadur Singh, expressed satisfaction with the not guilty ruling in a trial that began in the Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court in May 2022 and captured widespread public attention.
The team consisting of KD Knight, myself, Mr. Matthew Hyatt, and Sophia Samuels, my daughter, are elated, but even more elated are the accused men who have voluntarily flown back to Jamaica to be charged and have been vindicated. So it's a day of victory, it's a day of celebration. It's my 45th year as an attorney, and it's my last case in the courtroom. As you know, I've retired from the courtroom. Today's my last day in the courtroom. And to leave with a victory as enormous as this is, I can't tell you what it is. It's too emotional.
The 2 former Petrojam executives had been charged with defrauding the state-owned petroleum company of more than $10 million and faced 14 charges, including conspiracy to defraud, fraudulent conversion, aiding and abetting fraudulent conversion, and obtaining valuable security by false pretense, contrary to the provision of the Larceny Act. Scrutiny of the case was in large part spurred by the former executives' appearance before the Parliament's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee PAAC in 2018. Where the matter first came to public attention. Mr. Samuel suggests the pursuit of the former executives was in part politically motivated. The veteran attorney also shared what he described as some of the horrible features of the case, including the conduct of the prosecution.
I think I'm at the stage and the position at the bar to make these comments. It has alarmed me that a prosecutor could come to a case like this and, having read our no-case submission, which was in writing, went away and adjusted the indictment to counteract our points made in the no-case submission. That is unheard of. That is like in a domino game, looking over the shoulders of your opponent and adjusting your game accordingly. And I take umbrage from that. I'm really disappointed with the conduct of the prosecution in this case.
Samuels also indicated additional legal recourse on the part of his client may also become a consideration.
Dr. Singh was made to pay back over $10,000 US for a surprise birthday party for him, a party he knew nothing about. And the persecution caused him to be asked to pay back these monies. Secondly, all the board meetings where he traveled from the U.S. to come to and chair those meetings in a record-breaking income time for Petrojam. He has had to pay back for everything. They demanded that. The Integrity Commission held him responsible to pay it back, and he did so. So you'd imagine that there is a huge claim now that can be made by him, not only for the refund of his money, but also the restitution of his character.
Joel Crosskill, CVM News.
There's more CVM News at 7 right after this break.
The following tip is brought to you by
Hawkeye, securing what matters most.
Use security cameras to secure your home. Outdoor cameras will discern friend or foe, and it is a visual cue to the burglar that you are monitoring the property. The preceding tip was brought to you by
Hawkeye, securing what matters most.
The holidays, however you want. KFC is finger-licking good.
As we transition from iCreate Limited to Kintyre Holdings, we are embracing a future full of possibilities, where innovation meets growth and opportunities are endless. Kintyre Holdings emerges as a diversified powerhouse, driving growth across key sectors such as real estate, fintech, technology, advertising, and tourism. Kintyre Holdings isn't just rebranding. We are building a future of innovation, impact, and growth for Jamaica, the Caribbean, and beyond. Kintyre Holdings. See, believe, achieve. Visit our website, kintyre.holdings, for more information.
Thanks for staying with us. Road safety continues to be a pressing concern for the authorities, with hundreds of lives already lost on the nation's roads this year alone. Officials are urging Jamaicans to exercise greater caution during the holiday season. Shante McNeil has that story.
As we prepare to bid farewell to 2024, there's one lingering challenge: Jamaica's high number of road fatalities. Since the start of the year, 346 lives have been lost on the nation's roads, with 9 fatalities recorded just this month. While many holiday wish lists are filled with gifts and celebrations, the National Road Safety Council, NRSC, has a singular hope this season.
Slow down in Westmoreland, slow down in St. Catherine, slow down in St. Anne, slow down in the whole Jamaica, and we'll reach home safe. Not only for Christmas and New Year.
The latest tragedy unfolded early Monday morning along the 3 Miles River Main Road in Westmoreland, where 2 cousins lost their lives in a horrific crash. Reports indicate that 21-year-old Omaria Brown was driving a white Toyota Axio with his cousin Javel Brown in the front seat and 3 other passengers in the back. Allegedly speeding, Omaria lost control on a right-hand curve, veering off the road and slamming into a tree. The devastating impact left Omaria and Javel dead at the scene. The other passengers were rushed to the hospital for treatment. Vice Chairman for the NRSC, Lucian Jones, says to control road accidents for the rest of the year, 2 steps will be prioritized.
We don't have a lot of time left, and there are basically only 2 levers that you can pull. One is public education, and the other one is increased enforcement. Both of these levers are going to be actively engaged for the next couple of weeks.
He shared some road safety tips for the holidays.
Make sure that you don't drink and drive. Make sure that you have a designated driver. that when people go to parties, one person can carry them home safely. Make sure you wear your helmet. Make sure you buckle up. Make sure you don't drink and drive. Make sure you don't smoke marijuana and drive. If you do all of these things, then we'll have a safe Christmas.
In 2023, 361 road accidents were recorded, resulting in 398 deaths. The Road Safety Council continues to urge road users to exercise caution during this festive period. Shante McNeil, CVM News.
Now to a CVM News follow-up. Hostage negotiations are often stern but delicate situations involving innocent civilians at the mercy of criminals in enclosed spaces. Only last weekend, we learned of a hostage situation at a supermarket in Spalding in which 4 gunmen barricaded themselves for hours before later surrendering on a live stream. Now, one of the few fully trained experts in Jamaica shared insights into what typically goes into these negotiations and what to do if held against one's will. Crisis and hostage negotiator Dr. Jason Mackay has been a familiar face in the media for his efforts in diffusing kidnapping and hostage situations. Though not frequent in Jamaica, hostage situations, when they do happen, most end without casualty and with convictions. Criminologist Dr. Mackay shared with CVM News Tuesday memories of a number of cases he has worked on locally after several years of training to federal standard in the United States with another colleague in the JCF in preparation for the Cricket World Cup in 2007.
The Christine English case was, one of them that I was involved in, and I remember that one because that was a very public case, and it was a case that involved, persons who were convicted, and from a diverse, various communities, Western Kingston, Garden Town, various places that, you saw a blend of criminals getting together for that act. The Sylvia Edwards one was another terrible one, which I think that one, certain changes in policy probably occurred because of that one.
It was mandated back then for both men to never be off the island at the same time in the event such a situation developed. Since then, he says more teams have been formed and training of members to some extent had increased. But what really goes into diffusing a hostile kidnapping or hostage situation?
It's usually on a phone, and what is that is unusual is that you see the worst of the criminal being offered to you. So he's talking, usually when you talk to a criminal and you interview them, he's always trying to make himself look like not such a bad guy. But a kidnapper, a hostage taker, he's trying to let you know how brutal he is and what he's capable of doing. So it's the only scenario you get to really see that side of him, because he's trying to get something from you. So he's trying to say, I will kill, I will rape, I will cause pain.
Dr. Mackay warns, however, that civilians caught in a hostage situation ought not attempt to emulate moves they may have seen in the Hollywood playbook.
Forget everything you saw in Hollywood. When you're being robbed, same thing as when you're a hostage. Cooperate. Try and not get on the guy's bad side. Try and stay calm. Don't get too concerned about property. Don't get overwhelmed. Just try and be cooperative. Don't give him an excuse to hurt you, because he will hurt you. They're very violent people. They will hurt you.
So screaming and saying, I want to leave, I need to get out of here.
You're just escalating it.
Meantime, these young men, who also suffered injury in an alleged shootout with law enforcement in Spaldings, were, however, commended on their quick thinking in going live to herald their surrender. But it was the team of security personnel who were the real stars, making arrests, seizures, and preserving lives in the process. We'll share more on what goes into hostage negotiations, and in particular, the Spalding incident, later this week.
While members of Parliament raised concerns about the availability of cash and working ATMs as they met with representatives of Jamaica's central bank, Adrian Williams tells us more.
What is up with the ATM downtimes in Jamaica? That was the big question as the leadership of Jamaica's central bank sat in the hot seat as they appeared before the Standing Finance Committee of Parliament. Members of Parliament brought up concerns about the availability of cash and working ATMs for the public. Jaid Lewis, Deputy Governor of the Financial Supervisory Division of the Bank of Jamaica, BOJ, says that the BOJ has been working with the banks to see some improvements.
Comparing to September of last year, 2023, we now have 899 ABMs installed across the island. That's in comparison with 871. So we have more ABMs installed across the island compared to September 2023.
According to Lewis, the banks have been meeting the targets set by the BOJ.
We have a target under the standard that indicates that 90% of those ABMs by bank should be operational, and banks have been meeting and exceeding that target consistently since the standard has been implemented.
However, there are gaps in the length of time for ATMs to be restored to function.
Notice the improvement not being as strong is in terms of uptime. So uptime has to do with how long the ABM is operational during the month. And entities have been hovering between 89% and 90%, which is below the standard of 95%.
Meanwhile, a longtime crusader for banking sector reform, a member of Parliament for South St. Catherine, Fitz Jackson, is calling for more to be done to ensure that persons in rural areas are better served by ATMs.
It is approached from the perspective that full coverage or near full coverage is desirable to serve the society. It can't be that the banks cherry pick those high density areas and those in the relatively low density area.
Stay with us for so much more right after this break.
I can. You can. We can. Let's all take the pledge to end gang violence now. Report what you know. Call 811-311-119 or visit the nearest police station.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
VoiceBox Performing Arts invites you and your entire family
to be a part of Our Christmas Wish, a festive experience featuring the VoiceBox Kids and our special guest, Uncle Kevin Donswell, and a few other big surprises.
Join us on Sunday, December 15th at 7 p.m. at the Carl Hendrickson Auditorium, Jamaica College. Gates open at 6 p.m. Tickets are for $3,500 for adults
and $2,000 for picnic.
Get them now at La Shushan and Copycat Barbican or email us at voicebox876@gmail.com.
Our Christmas Wish is sponsored by CVM TV, the Digital Foundation, Island Grill, JPS, TST, Edna Manley College, Starlight, and AV Montage Limited. See you there!
Welcome back. It's now time for the Business Report with Joel Crosskill.
Lots to share with you in the business report today as it relates to finding a better place to put plastic for residents of Manchester, Clarendon and St Elizabeth, as Recycling Partners of Jamaica officially opened its 9th recycling facility. For context on the scale of plastic disposal problems in Jamaica's major urban centres, according to data made available by the Kingston Harbour Cleanup Project as at August of this year, over £4.6 million of waste were prevented from entering Kingston Harbour over the previous previous 2 years, much of which were plastics. However, in spite of the immense efforts that have been made in the last-second capture of poorly disposed of plastics, when considering the very real threat that the material poses to the environmental health of the country, the adage that prevention is better than cure has become essential for deeper consideration by all of society, according to Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Matthew Samuda.
The reality is that a sustainable future, or rather a sustainable approach to our development agenda, is the only way we will actually have a future that is worth living. And that's not to be theatric in the Hollywood movie sense, end of the world in the worst looking way. But the reality is the way humans live, the way we have developed our economies, the way we consume, has created what Dr. King would have been exposed to, which is dubbed by the United Nations Environmental Program. It's dubbed the Triple Planetary Crisis. That crisis, as analyzed by UNEP, refers to climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution with a specific focus on plastics.
Jamaica has, though, made considerable strides in that regard, in part due to the commitment of the recycling partners of Jamaica and corporate stakeholders, including the JMEA's director, John Minot.
Jamaica is now #1 in the Caribbean in its recovery rate of plastic bottles produced monthly into recycling. There is a bit of haze as to where we fall within the total LAC region, because you get one number when you ask one person and another number when you ask another person. But RPJ reaching to 42%, as I understand, Gary, is momentous and it is consequential and it matters. So Jamaica getting to the stage where 43 or 42, above 40% solidly, 43% of every bottle, of all the bottles produced each month, are now coming back into RPJ. It's a big deal.
We believe that partnerships between manufacturers, exporters, and the recycling sector are vital to achieving national goals for environmental protection. Our collaboration with recycling partners of Jamaica has supported public education efforts, facilitated conversations around policy development, and encouraged manufacturers to adopt environmentally friendly practices, including the use of recycled materials in their production processes.
According to Samuda, it's a consideration manufacturers across the region may be forced to take an even greater consideration of.
There is a move within the negotiation space that will limit the access to manufacturers globally to virgin plastic who cannot prove a certain recovery rate for their plastic production. That is an open conversation. That is something that I can tell you there is great support in CARICOM across the Council of Ministers for.
Samuda adds that government itself must also set an example.
It is the intention of the government next year to complete the process of insisting that every government agency, every government-owned building insists on separation of waste. We're also looking at changes to the building codes that would facilitate additional space for new schemes and complexes to have sufficient space to also facilitate the separation of waste. So we're looking at the matter holistically to give support, certainly through private sector investment, but also to ensure that NSWMA, as we continue to invest in them, will be able to manage the waste that we do generate far more sustainably than we do now.
Well, for RPJ's Executive Director, Dr. Damien King, whose decade-long leadership has seen the registration of thousands of vendors and the adoption of over 400 schools towards the cause, the change we want to see as a nation will only truly hit home when consumers consider of how best to dispose of what was once contained by their own hands.
If Jamaica is going to continue on the road that we have started on, to make progress, meaningful progress, on managing our plastic problem, we have to do it. There's no point in waiting around for some global treaty that is going to give us clear guidance and obligate us to do it. It really is up to us.
And that was your Business Report. I'm Joel Crosskill.
We now head to a break. Stay with us.
KFC's popcorn chicken, now available in barbecue. KFC, it's finger licking good. The Time by KFC.
This is a public service announcement. Yo, JPS have something for light up your Christmas. 101 lucky customers are gonna get real happy with them light bill paid this Christmas. That's over $2 million in light. Use the My JPS app to view your bill, set your budget, and track your usage, and you could win. Download and start using the My JPS app today. JPS, pouring what matters this Christmas. Promotion in December 27. Conditions apply.
All you want for Christmas is your two-front seat, your two-front seat, your two-front seat. At Jamaica Petrojam, your two-front seat for Christmas comedy cook-off.
Thursday, December 26th at the Grand Ballroom of the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Gates open 6 p.m. Showtime 7:30 sharp. Call 876-542-4160 for ticket info. Christmas comedy cook-up, serving up laughter.
At Jamaica Petrojam, your two-front seat for Christmas comedy cook-up.
It's been 3 years.
Come on, D. I have it. Let's go.
My baby. Son of my baby. Oh my goodness.
Them feeding you over there, though? Your favorite. Welcome home, son.
This is home.
At Hypro, farming is in our DNA. So we know the value of all you do. Whether you're an experienced farmer, the farmer just starting out, or the farmer looking to shake things up, we're supportive and understanding of your needs, adapting to whichever path your ambition and innovation leads. And we're experienced enough to guide when needed. We're here to support you at every step, providing high-quality feeds, chicks, farm supplies, and technical support. That's why Hypro is here to make it easier on farmers. Hypro, let's get it done together.
Welcome back. Well, here's what's happening on the social media landscape.
So, what's trending in our local social media spaces?